Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Demu versus Beasty. We have an Abbasid versus Ottoman matchup over here in this ranked game. The map is Dry Arabia, and on the northern side, we will have Beasty spawning in as the yellow color with the Abbasids. And to the south, it is going to be Demu playing as the Ottomans in purple. Now, right from the get-go, there are some big differences between the players' maps here. Beasty has both of his wood lines spawned to the front. There's like a third one as well, making this middle area kind of crowded and creating some narrow choke points here. But the flanks are very open on both the north and kind of to the southwest, I guess. Whereas for Demu, both of the forests spawn to the west. It's going to be easy to protect that area. But the east is super open, and he's got basically all of that gold on that side. So that could be problematic to defend. Luckily for him, he's playing as the Ottomans, so gold isn't going to be the biggest of all priorities in Feudal Age. Abbasid versus Ottomans, this is not a matchup that we commonly see, by the way, partly because these two civilizations in tournaments are often picked in very different maps. Abbasid is a civilization that's often associated with booming, so when you have a map pool like, let's say, Hillandale or some other well-defendable maps, maybe something like Highview, this is a map that you can, or this is a civilization that you can pick over there. Sometimes it's going to be picked on Lipany, of course, because of the berries. A lot of options for Abbasids, but generally, Abbasids are picked on maps where you can get away with a strong eco play, 2 TCs, maybe even 3 TCs. Ottomans, on the other hand, is more of an aggro civ, and you mostly pick them on maps where you can and will punish pretty fast in Feudal Age. So this is not a matchup that you commonly see in tournaments. Now, when you're in Demu's position, you obviously have to be the tempo aggressor. First thing to note is that he opted to go for no military schools in Dark Age, so he won't have a spearman harassing in this area. Now, this is, to a certain extent, a missed opportunity, especially if Beasty wants to play into 2 TCs. Having a spearman out here harassing those villagers probably could have been valuable. Now, I don't blame Demu for it for 2 reasons. Actually, never mind. 3 reasons? Something like that. Let's break this down. Beasty is going up the Feudal Age with the military wing. This means that he's getting 2 spearmen, 2 archers. So if you go for your own spearman here, you will get cleaned up the moment Beasty reaches Feudal Age. He probably wouldn't start mining stone before that anyways, so that spearman would pretty much be useless. Second, when you look at high-level games, that one spearman can be out-microed by vills. Villagers will fight it, and especially an expert micro player like Beasty, he will always be able to pull away the injured wills, so you never get a villager kill. You might do some level of harassment, you might force some level of idle time, but you won't really get any major damage done with those spears. And if you opt to go for the military school, it will delay your own Feudal Age as well. Now, looks like we do have some stone being mined over here, so we will see military schools, but this time around they will be for Sipahi. One of the things that has been often discussed in connection with the Ottomans is that Sipahi are now considered extremely powerful units. They have been very strong for a long time, but especially in Season 5, players started using Sipahi more and more, and they are one of the prime units in Feudal Age to play with. Villagers are chilling right now, but Berry took a couple of seconds to spawn. Anyway, if you play into the Sipahi with the Ottomans, it's best to do it with military schools. Sipahi is an expensive unit compared to some other units that the military school can provide. So the best thing to do is get those expensive units for free with the military schools, and then support them with the cheaper units from the production buildings. Spearmen, archers, whichever is needed. Now Beasty is moving out with the archers and the spearmen. This is actually challenging to deal with. This army doesn't seem very intimidating, but in the hands of an expert player, this army is immensely valuable. This army can easily slow down the opponent by 30 seconds, even a minute. You can completely throw off the timings of the enemy players with this combo. Here come the spears, here come the archers. Demu has been mining stone for a while, but only with 3 wheels. Now he's going to get pushed away from it. Scout, what's happening here? This probably was just a bait here by Demu. Trying to bait the scout into the TC fire, because I just do not see him being motivated to pull off the villas from gold, having been harassed by only 1 scout. Maybe he thought that the spearman will switch there, and he is just going to have to pull the villagers anyways. But he will fall back. He will be able to afford 2 military schools. And as I said, I would be shocked if he didn't use them for Sipahi. And he's got a range. He's just going to get a couple of archers out as well. Yeah, there it is, Sipahi. Behind this, Beast is getting a big window for himself, though. And this is one of the things I love in the military school opening of the Abbasids. I think this change to the military school made the Abbasids even more flexible. Back in the days, it was always economy wing into boom. Now you can play into the military wing, get the 2 spears, 2 archers, and that's just enough to set the tempo of early feudal age. And now you can get that second town center up whatever you want to. You are the aggressor, so you won't be harassed back at home. And this means that you can be ambitious with your TC placement. You can go all the way out here, knowing that no one's gonna be there to harass you. Sipahi are slowly coming out. Looks like we might have a second TC here by Demu, though. He's mining stone very heavily, and he's up to 2 military schools. Makes me wonder if he wants to go for a second TC. I would not be fully against it. You cannot really play the boom game against the Abbasids for long. You cannot hope to match their economy, but you can hope to keep pace with it. And when it's supported by units that you get for free, it's a deadly combo. Archer is now moving out. There is a Meter as well. Options to do damage are somewhat limited. Beasty is walling up quickly, so you can't really push this extra TC. Best angle might be this. Actually, best thing to do for Demu would be denying the wood. Beasty's got no safe wood to work with. If he harasses this angle, it's going to be very difficult for Beast to get any kind of access to wood. And it's very problematic for the Abbasids. When you play 2 TC Abbasids, it's a boom into mass archers, sometimes horsemen, and then composite bows in Castle Age. It's a very wood-heavy unit composition that you most frequently play, so being cut off from the wood is very problematic for an Abbasid player. Meter is coming in here. Walls should be completed just in time. The Meter could actually block it, but looks like Demu was a little slow to react. He's going to see the walls going up. There's the second TC. It is going to be on the hunt. Archers are actually being used to kill the deer, just so that the villagers don't have to spend any of their time on it. It's going to be some very nicely focused deer carcasses around the TC. Distance will be minimal. He could have killed the other 2 deer, though. Okay, he will. He's also going survival techniques. It's a very nice and neat upgrade. Super cheap, only 25.75. And it's a massive buff to your hunting. Definitely a tech that players love to get nowadays. And it looks like we will have another range, another wax. No surprise on the lack of stables. You will get most of your Sipahi from the military schools. And you just want to support it with archers. You just want to support it with spearmen. Not a single blacksmith upgrade in, though. No siege engineering, no range defense, no nothing. On the other side, Beasty does have some production. And he does have a camel archer. I love this unit being added by Abbasid players in Feudal, because it does debuff the enemy cavalry. Even just a single camel archer out there is so valuable, especially when you're playing against knights, but it's also useful against Sipahi like this. Key thing is not to lose it, of course, because Demu's first thing to do will be to focus it down. You see he's microing back, focusing the camel archer. This one archer is just feeling suicidal, it seems. And the Beasty is going to catch a glimpse of that second TC. Now he knows that his opponent is playing 2 TCs as well, and he's going to double down playing with a third. Now Demu is yet to scout this, and this is critical. If Demu were to scout this, this is the most significant target that he could ask for. Getting through these walls is challenging. This is a strong point as well for Beasty to defend. This is by far the easiest target. So this is something that he would hope to try and get a good fight around. Still trying to focus on the Camel Archer. Spearman now closing distance. The Meter is still half alive. Obviously, as important as it is for Beasty to keep the Camel Archer alive, it's also critical for Demu to keep the Meter alive. So for both of these players, it is going to be the #1 priority to focus down the enemy's buff unit or debuff unit. Defensive tower from Beasty. He needs that. He cannot garrison all these villas into the TC. It's also going to provide some extra firepower. And it looks like he might be thinking about Castle Age here. He's banking up food, he's banking up gold. Demu isn't super far away from Castle Age either, but I think he might just double down on this. Feels like he's just flooding units at this point. He's getting the blacksmith upgrades going. Fight under the tower will be repelled. And the Meter will get sniped by Beasty over here. Huge pick-off at the beginning of this battle. Sipahi being focused down by the towers and the TC. Blacksmith upgrades are looking a lot better for Demu. He's got range defense, he's got ranged attack. No melee upgrades on his side. Beasty, on the other hand, not a single blacksmith upgrade. In fact, I don't think he has a blacksmith even. But this defensive tower is going to be valuable to hold this choke point. Sipahi goes down as well. Scout will get out there just with a tiny bit of HP. But now Demu, he has lost the Meter. There is no new Meter on the field. He's going for a 3rd military school though. He's definitely playing aggressive here in Feudal, but he's not going to just stall out. He wants to go to Castle Age. There is the Armory coming up for him. And Culture Wing is going to be the wing of choice for Beasty. He does have Military Wing already, so he can get composite bows. But Culture Wing will unlock him a cheaper Imperial Age, which could be a factor if this game goes long. Now this is a big detail. You can see this wing being built, and this is something that Demu sees as well. So Demu knows fully well that Castle Age is on the way for Beasty. He's going to try to punish that. Finds some open villagers on the gold mine, gets a couple of picks, but the scout will be picked off. And now, Demu's vision is going to be a lot more limited. Basically no more reinforcements coming in. He is in Castle Age, he's going to start mixing in mangonels, and I think this is only the time where he's finding this expansion TC. Defensive tower coming in for Beasty, it will be denied. And not all of the villagers are able to jump into the TC here. Archers will get a couple of valuable picks, pretty much evening out the villager count. Now Beasty's looking to fight this. He's getting the blacksmith upgrades going. He needs to fight this before the veterancy comes in for Demu. Demu will try to disengage. He's trying to snipe the camel, will get the kill as well, but then will just disengage out of this one. He's trying to poke around still. He's trying to shut down the gold, but his opponent is already on the way to Castle Age. And when Beasty gets there, he's not going to make any very gold-heavy units. You see, he's going archers. He's going to get composite bows for them. He's actually missing boot camp, by the way. He is not going to play any lancers. I think it could be a combo of Gulam and archers. And then he's going to make a couple of springolds with those units to counter the mangonels that are coming out. Another attempt by Demu to try and harass these gold miners. Nice timing out there. He's taking this fight just when the veterancy hits. He's trying to focus down some of the spearmen, now shifting focus towards the archers. Some Sipahi are on the way as well, but numbers are looking a lot better for Beasty. He is repelling this aggression, and the reinforcements are slow to catch up. First Met Arms just now arrives from Demu, though. And that is what could swing this battle here. That's going to soak up a lot of arrow fire. Beasty is now up to Castle Age as well. He's getting phalanx, he's getting veterancy. Gulam's nowhere to be seen. He's going to just play into full Spearman Archer for the time being. Composite bows are also not coming in. He's going for boot camp right now. Nice fight by Demu here. He's taking this engagement before the Castle Age upgrades finish for his opponent. Oh my lord! Oh my lord, I did not see this. I think nor did Beasty. There's no way that he wouldn't have garrisoned all those villas. There were some more spaces in there. He just lost like a dozen villagers on that gold mine. He was probably focused on this fight himself or somewhere else, but he lost a dozen villagers out there. Now 13 picks for Demu. Oh, this made life so much more difficult for Beasty. Frankly, he's got 3 TCs with the Abbasids, and he is still having the villager lead. I think some of that could come from TC idle time for Demu. He shouldn't be behind by 4 vills when he has killed 14. I think there has to be some idle time there for Demu. Nice little dance back and forth, by the way. These Sipahi force the villagers back into the TC, and if the army moves out to help them, Demu can commit against these forces here, picking off some newly spawned units. First Mangonel is out, and you see now Demu is regrouping. He's got no desire to fully commit to this. He's regrouping, and now he's going to send out the reinforcements. He's going to have Lancers coming. He's going to have Mangonels coming. Now, he's actually housed, so part of the reason why we don't see that many Lancers is because he had some issues with population. He's mixing in some Janissaries. Now, Janissaries are a very tricky unit. The time I'm casting these games is actually just a couple of days after the Africa Duos tournament, all the way back in July. You will probably see this later because right now I am doing summer things like visiting family and stuff, so I just have a bunch of pre-recorded videos. So this is played, like at the time you see this, this probably was played like 2 weeks ago. But we just finished Africa Duos, and one of the things that was nice to see in there is that Janissaries were a really good support unit in 2v2s. It's just going to massacre cavalry. Oh, beautiful Mangonel fire. Great use of the line of sight here by Demu. Line of sight is provided by the Sipahi. Mangonel got a volley out on the Vills, but the Springald will focus this down. Janissary is firing from the back line. When they are buffed by a Sipahi, or by a Matter actually, they are also a great unit to just deal with general infantry as well. Men-at-Arms now close the distance here, but beautiful snipes by Beasty. He focused down the Matter, he focused down the archers, and now he's falling back in an orderly fashion. He's got some crossbows as well against the heavily armored units, and I think Beasty might be able to hold this. He's still outnumbered 2-1, but the units that Demu has left are not units that you want to dive under town centers with. Reinforcements are coming in steadily though. Janissary is now pushing up, and when they are buffed by a Matter, as I said, that 16 base attack against everything, that is a very valuable amount of firepower. They're very fragile, but if you can keep them at the backline, they're immensely useful. It looks like Beasty, he's going to have his town center now threatened here. Villagers getting caught in a crossfire. Beasty garrisons some of them, but not all of them. So many villas are falling for Beasty. He's down by 31, 34, make it 35. He's outnumbered 2-1, and reinforcements keep coming in. There's a second Mangonel. It's actually setting up to just fire at the Lumberjacks, and now a forward keep is coming in for Demu. We talked about this position, how Beasty's map looked like him initially. The most exposed resource he had was wood. And with the Abbasids, that's a big problem. You want to make units that cost a lot of wood. Now Beasty is shifting heavily towards stone. He wants a defensive keep. Likely this would be the spot that he would want to build it at. But Demu is quicker. He's going to drop a keep over there. And if that keep goes up, this wood line is going to be denied. The gold miners will be pushed away. And Beasty is going to be in a very difficult spot. Behind this, I hear relic collection sounds. That's Beasty getting a couple of relics for himself. He's now down by 6 villagers. But the bigger problem is that there's a keep in his face. A keep that's going to start shutting down this gold mine. Now a Lancer moves in as well. And I guess we're getting to the stage where we need to discuss what was wrong here for Beasty. I think he did the best thing that he could have done. Problem is that his map for Abbasids is not something that's very, I guess, optimal. If this was, let's say, French, he would be more than happy with this map because French don't use a lot of wood. He would just go heavy on the knights. But with Abbasids, your go-to units will be, especially in this matchup, spears, archers with composite bows, springalds. All of these units have a low gold cost and a high wood cost. And the only resource that Beasty does not have is wood. Archers now focus down all of the villagers here. Castle will be going up here, but Beasty has to sacrifice so many vills for this. Cannot even garrison all of them inside that single keep. At least this keep is going to hold off Demu's aggression for a moment. But I would be shocked if he didn't just swing this way, maybe attack this exposed area. Now don't sleep on Beasty, his army numbers are still healthy, and he's been picking up relics behind this. He's capturing sacred sites, though Demu has been picking up relics himself. He's actually up to 3 relics. He was quicker than Beasty in that department. He's got 2 meters out, 2 mangonels are coming up. A trebuchet could be intriguing to take a look at, but I think right now Demu is just focusing on getting the farm transition going. Don't forget, farm transition is always a position of weakness or time of weakness, but I don't think that's going to be relevant here for Demu. He's got an overwhelming army advantage, at least right inside Beasty's base. Beasty's trying to get a second defensive keep up, racing against the builders of Demu, but he knows that he cannot get it up in time, and Demu will secure the game. When you look back at this game, I think the key factor was Castle Age timing. Demu beat Beasty to Castle Age. Beasty wanted to go to Castle Age, and I think that was the right choice. But critically, Demu spotted Beasty going into Castle Age. So he knew fully well that Beasty was going up, and he could adjust his timings accordingly. He took fights before Beasty had critical upgrades. And of course, after that, it's just the Ottoman flood. 3 TCs for Beasty is nice, but especially given how many villagers Demu was able to pick off, it didn't really show against the overwhelming Ottoman flood. And that's where you see the benefit of the military schools, getting those premium expensive units out, the Sipahi, the Lancers, for no cost is a great value for the Ottomans. Supported by 2 TCs, he can put out a lot of archers, a lot of spearmen to support those units with, and it results in a win here. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, I greatly appreciate if you throw a like and subscribe to the channel. These metrics help me a lot, and I will see you in the next video.